Hi, this is Rabbi Chaim Kaufman. Welcome to our 252nd installment in the Torah portion of the week. we are holding by Parshas Shemini. Parshas Shemini speaks about priestly service, talks about death of Nadav and Avihu, the two sons of Aaron, and talks about laws of kashrus, birds, animals, creepy crawly things, etc. And then it speaks about contamination of kosher animals, etc. So, the Torah tells me, chapter 11, verse 1, Hashem spoke to Moshe and Aaron, saying, verse 2, speak to the children of Israel, saying, these are the creatures you may eat from among all the animals that are upon the earth. Things you're allowed to eat, you're not allowed to eat. Right? So interesting. Torah tells me the laws of kashrus. Right? Certain animals I'm allowed to eat. Certain birds I'm allowed to eat. And other birds I'm not allowed to eat. Other animals, creepy crawly things. Most people not aware, eating a creepy crawly thing, eating a bug, can certainly be worse. 5-6 times worse than eating pig. Why? Eating pig, 1 prohibition. Eating a creepy crawly thing can be 5 prohibitions. 6 prohibitions. But essentially, why do we keep kosher? What's the purpose? What's the purpose of kashrus? Now, there are a number of potential reasons why we have the laws of kashrus and why we're not allowed to eat certain things. So one reason, potentially, is the soul of a Jew is different than a non-Jew. And God says that since the soul is different, I want you to eat certain things. And I don't want you to eat other things. Because they're going to affect you in a negative way. You're going to tell me that science hasn't proven it. Science has definitely not proven that we are what we eat. But who cares? Normally, we don't care what science has to say. We're not interested in what science has to say. Even if it hasn't been proven, doesn't mean it's not true. And even what science knows today is drop in the bucket compared to what's out there. I mean, we see the last 2 years, certainly by COVID, that science don't know diddly squat here. And everyone's got the vaccine and still numbers spike. They know what to do. So, science, not the end all things here. So, one possible reason is it affects a Jew in a different way than a non-Jew. Because the Gemara says, if a Jew eats his garbage, right, eats things that aren't kosher, eats animals that aren't kosher, what does it cause him? The Gemara in Yuma says, it's a tantam esale. Plain the word Tuma, right, means impurity. What does the tantam mean? Dulls the spirit. Dulls the spirit of a person. It makes him apathetic. So the vast majority of Jews out there, they don't keep kosher. Very hard to get them to do anything Jewish. Because they're apathetic, like trying to start a Jeep with a 9-volt. Can't do it. Doesn't go. So when someone starts to do tshuva, they start to repent. What's the first thing they should start doing is keeping kosher. Get all that garbage out of your system. To be able to listen to Torah. Shabbos, they should start keeping Shabbos. Because when a person keeps Shabbos, they show that God runs the world. That God's in charge. So that's one possible reason why we keep kosher. Could be multiple reasons. Multiple reasons. But essentially, kashrus is a decree. Right? Some people say, come on, we don't have a problem with trigonosis today. Well, what does that do with trigonosis? Things are, cooked better, heated up better. Not worried about tapeworm, this, that. What does that do with anything? Someone once told me, I was in a kosher restaurant, eating a bagel. They said, what's the deal with keeping kosher? We don't have a problem with trigonosis. And I said, yeah, but you're eating a bagel. What does the bagel have to do with trigonosis? 0. Kind of foolish thing to say, but okay. That was the claim person made. That was the end of the conversation. They're like, all right, pass the salt. Can't argue with stupid. I mean, you could. Waste of time. So essentially it's a decree. Like any other mitzvah in the Torah. We understand it better, we understand it worse. Doesn't matter. It's a divine decree. We have to keep what the Torah says. Can't reinvent the wheel. You think I know better. Because you got all the so-called Jewish movements did that, and the end result's a disaster. So even if I would agree, which I wouldn't, but even if I would agree, and say let's make innovations, let's include everybody, include everything, does it work? Doesn't work. How do I know it doesn't work? 50% into marriage, 60% into marriage, higher in other places. And Torah's not getting passed down. So we always say either you look like me or you're not going to pass it down. That's it. We get a very high percentage. Most people know I'm into statistics. We have a very high percentage of passing Torah down to the next generation. And that's what it's all about. So if you can't do it, and it doesn't work in other so-called movements, then you can't argue. Because the Torah makes clear, that's the whole point. It's for all generations. Can't say just for this generation. Can't say, well, it's a good try, we died out. That all doesn't make sense. So, we have to look and keep what the Torah wants at the highest level. And we can't pick and choose. Torah tells me clear I have to keep what it says. Torah does not allow me to pick and choose. Doesn't allow me. And if a person wants to say that I'm allowed to do such a thing, so again, Kaufman's law would be, prove it. Show me. Show me where it says I'm allowed to do whatever I want. Doesn't say it in my book. Doesn't say it in my Torah. And even if you would tell me it's okay, even if you want to tell me it's okay, and I'll do what I want, doesn't work. Can you pass it down? Right? And if you can't, in the majority time, the kids barely stay Jewish at all, then I would say, who cares what your philosophy is? Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. What's relevant is what works. What's real. Not someone who picks and chooses. Because the end result is a disaster. Make all the innovations you want. And all these other quote-unquote synagogues are all dying. They're all dying. Why? Very simple. People don't believe in it. So the kids aren't going to believe in it. So if the kids are not going to believe in it, who's going to keep it? You have no next generation. So even if they're still alive today, they're on their last legs. They're not going to pass it down. They can't pass it down. And it makes sense. Because they pick and choose. It comes along the law of kashrus. Got many other laws as well. Probably 80-90% of the Torah doesn't make logical sense. It comes along, God says, these are certain things you can't do. You can't do. And then in the Parsha, verse 44, chapter 11, verse 44. It says, I am Hashem your God. You are to sanctify yourself. You shall be holy, for I am holy. You shall not contaminate yourself through any teeming thing that creeps upon the earth, I, Hashem, will elevate you from the land of Egypt to be a God to you. You should be holy, for I am holy. Right? Keep the laws. Why? Because you want to be holy. Because God is holy. And why did God take us out of Egypt? To make us holy. And if we don't want to be holy, well, too bad. That's our obligation. But God distinguished us from everybody else in order to elevate us. So when we eat the right things, it elevates the soul. I don't see it. I don't necessarily feel it. It's there. But we have to remember it's a divine decree. But it's supposed to elevate the soul. That's why we do it. And a non-Jew is not going to do it because it doesn't have any benefit, right? What do we see? We see, one of the commentaries here says, that a non-Jew is going to keep kosher. He's going to eat kosher things. You see that if he eats non-kosher, it doesn't affect him in a negative way. It has no negative effect. So the Kli Yakar says, if it has no negative effect, and there's no benefit over here, why would a non-Jew do it? Non-Jew wouldn't do it. But for a Jew, a different issue. For a Jew, it's a whole different ballgame. The whole purpose of kashrus is what? To make him a Jew. Distinguish him from non-Jews. But that's the whole point. That's why God took us out of Egypt. To make us holy. Keeping the Torah makes us holy. Even though I don't fully understand what I'm doing. Even if I eat all the matzah on Passover. Wow, I feel so holy. Yeah, I feel holy in my stomach. Feel so holy. That's the whole point. We want to draw close to God, even if it's hard. Even if we don't feel like doing it. God says, Zidu es Hashem b'simcha. Right, we got to serve God with great joy. That's our obligation. Whether it's easy, whether it's hard. But all this that we do and we listen and this is all to make us holy. That's what it is. That's why God took us out of Egypt. If we're going to do whatever we want and keep whatever we want, we're going to pick and choose. Is that making us holy? Not making us holy. And the end result bears that out. You see, these people are not holy. They're not keeping very much at all, if anything. And many of them totally 100% apathetic. Right? Totally apathetic. And trying to get them to change, yeah, good luck. Maybe some will. Vast majority. They're too far gone, they're brain dead. I ain't gonna wake them up. How does the heart wake up over here from its slumber? Kashrus. Eating the right things. By eating the right things, the body functions a different way. Strengthens the soul. Garbage that the body eats, that goes inside, contaminates the soul. So how can a person want to reach high spiritual levels to get all this garbage in their body? You know, we're not getting health-wise. There's plenty of kosher things that aren't healthy. We're not talking about that. We're talking in spiritual terms. And in spiritual terms, it'll destroy the soul. That's what it'll do. So we got to change our mentality. We got to look at the entire Torah as a decree. Because if not, then we pick and choose. Some things will be more stringent on, less stringent on, or we won't keep anything. Because we think we know better. We're more modern. Living in a more modern world. Whoop-de-doo. We're living in a more modern world. We need Torah mitzvahs today more than ever. We need faith and belief in God more than ever. In this topsy-turvy world we live in. But we have to understand we're not in charge. We have to understand God tells us what to do. It's a divine command, divine decree. And whatever God says, that's what we got to do. Doesn't mean I don't have to look into it. I have to try and figure out what he wants. No. I have to understand to the best of my ability. I have to work hard. But the reality is, I may not get the full understanding. But some people say, if I don't have really full understanding, why would I keep anything? So that's an excuse. They give you 10 different reasons why we should do this. No, I don't like this reason. No, I don't like that reason. Got to keep it anyway. Because if we understood the divine decree, finished. But the vast majority of people out there, they just want to do what they want to do. It's true. It's not true. It doesn't matter. Where does it come from? Where does this apathy come from? It comes from putting this garbage in your body. It comes from kashrus. It comes from other things as well. But, right, over here, kashrus is crucial. The Gemara says it dulls the spirits. Dulling the spirit, what does that mean? Makes you apathetic. Someone's apathetic, who's going to want to come to Torah mitzvahs? Nobody. They just become more apathetic, more cynical. You need to start, to get this person to wake up, it's like starting a Jeep with a 9-volt. Not going to happen. No matter how charismatic, this, that, not going to happen. So we have to realize whatever we do is for the sake of being holy. Either I'm going up or I'm going down. Either it's benefit to my soul or it's not. Put up or shut up. I got to do what I need to do. I do the wrong thing, takes me away. Contaminates the soul. I do the right thing. That's why God created us. That's why God put us here. For that purpose. To do what he wants, to make us holy. And he knows better. He knows a heck of a lot more than we do. Even if we don't fathom why. Even if a lot of decrees don't make a lot of sense. Okay? Still have to keep it. Still have to do it. We're not robots. We have free will. Person can decide, I want to do it, I don't want to do it. And they'll pay a price. Either way. But the reality is, the Torah is telling me I took you out of Egypt for a purpose. The purpose is to keep Torah mitzvahs. That's the purpose. There is no other purpose. It's to draw close to him. That's the purpose. And if you don't do that, you contaminate yourself. Contaminate the world. That's not why God created you. He created you for you to be holy. Because he himself is holy. And he wants you to go on the right path and do the right thing. Gotta listen. You gotta do what he says. You gotta be disciplined. You gotta work hard. Person does that. And they understand the bigger picture. Then it helps them reach their potential. It helps them get to where they need to get. It doesn't mean it's easy. Definitely doesn't mean it's easy. Struggle is there. But we have a way to deal with it. We have a way to understand. And we're given a golden opportunity. And that we don't want to miss. I want to remind everyone, I have a class on duties of the heart every Tuesday, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, Gate of Self-Accounting. Sunday, packed day. I got the Book of Leviticus, chapter 16, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 4 o'clock Israel Time. Tanakh Talk, 12:30 Eastern Time, 7:30 Israel Time. On Sunday, No Hide Nations, 2:30 Eastern Time. On Sunday, 9:30 Israel Time. There are 2 Q&As, Tuesday and Thursday, 10 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 o'clock normally. Israel Time. Pirkei Avos, Ethics for Fathers, every Saturday, 2 o'clock Eastern Time, 9 o'clock Israel Time. Conversion classes. Anyone interested in any of this, find me on Facebook at Michael Chaim Kaufman. You can send me an email, rabbichaimkaufman@gmail.com, RBBICHAIMCOFFFMAN @gmail.com.